Hello, we're in central London at the beautiful Wallace collection, home to paintings by some of the world's great artists.
Today, 12 new artists will be showcasing their talents here. In just a few moments, they'll be painting famous faces in front of large crowds and against the clock.
Welcome to a brand new series of Sky Art's Portrait Artist of the Year. Over the next 8 weeks, we're travelling the length and breadth of Britain and Ireland as we search for undiscovered artistic talent.
I think I've painted about 50 portraits in my head in the night, painted everybody from Cilla Black to Prince Charles.
Nearly 1,600 applied, but only 12 of the best have made it to each heat.
Still can't believe I'm here, painting in the Portrait Artist of the Year.
They'll be challenged to paint the portrait of some of the country's most loved personalities.
How are you going to sit still for so long?
I've been practicing and I've got to 4 minutes so far.
I'm just trying my best for the guys, doing not much.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
I know there's a certain dignity to this programme, but I'm telling you now, if I look fat in any of your paintings, I will smash this place up.
Their work will be scrutinised by our distinguished judges, award-winning artist Taishan Schurenberg, Head of Contemporary at the Fine Art Society, Kate Bryan, and independent curator and art historian, Kathleen Soriano.
How do we get those down to 3?
Each week, those who impress the most will get one step closer to claiming the title and an incredible prize, a £10,000 commission to paint the portrait of award-winning actor Alan Cumming for the Scottish National Portrait Gallery.
I think it's absolutely thrilling that the winner should create a new commission for us. It's very exciting. And, of course, it will enter the permanent collection and remain here ever after, which is fantastic.
But whose bold brushstrokes?
Yeah, we'll unleash the beast in the last hour and see what this
I
turns
look forward
into.
to unleashing the beast. And perfect portraiture.
You know, if you want a likeness, go to Leicester Square.
No, that's patronising. I'm not letting that pass. We'll see them crowned Sky Art's Portrait Artist of the Year.
It's all about portraits, isn't it? Most of these artists are used to working behind closed doors at their own pace. Today they have to work next to each other, in front of the general public and against the clock.
I didn't sleep a wink last night. I've probably got very dark circles under my eyes.
Never done anything like this before, but I need this. It's a good kick up the behind.
The judges shortlisted today's artists from digital copies of their self-portraits. This is their first chance to see the originals.
Well, these are your selections, so tell me what you liked about that. It's wonderfully fresh.
Yeah, I think it was that freshness that really caught us immediately.
Her gaze is so strong.
There's a real vulnerability to the face. And she seems quite young, and yet it's very mature.
This is very strange in an eerie kind of way.
I think that often happens with a self-portrait that's done using the mirror as opposed to the camera.
Yeah.
You do have that strange one eye not quite looking at you properly. I think it was the strangeness that slightly appealed to us.
I mean, it's someone who's obviously likes to experiment.
This is really spare, isn't it?
I mean, I love it, actually.
It's very seductive.
It's really unusual.
You'd think it was a sitter from the 17th, 18th century, the way in which he's posed himself as well.
I love this one because it references that lovely moment in the end of the 19th century when everyone was obsessed with Japanese prints.
And unlike sort of graphic art, his face is very subtle and gentle.
A great day ahead, no doubt about it. As they begin setting up, the artists get a chance to see how the other self-portraits compare with their own.
A nice loose technique, isn't it?
Have you seen the detail in that?
It's almost like a pointer.
Yes, it is very much pointillism, isn't it?
Quite frightening when you see what you're up against.
Tony Noble is no stranger to competitions. His work has been shown at the last 4 BP Awards, and he's keen to do well again here today.
You know, at the end of the day, you know, I think we're all here to win this thing, and you know, you see what you're up against, and you think you're going to have to do a good day's work.
Divided into 3 groups of 4, the artists will have just 4 hours to produce a piece of work that will impress the judges enough to put them through to the semi-final.
I saw a lot of magpies, just single magpies on the way, so I've been doing my little magpie dance. Hopefully it goes okay.
The easels are set and the artists are ready, but up till this point, they have no idea who will be their sitters. Your sitter is one of British football's most famous defenders. He was a key member of the legendary Arsenal Invincibles. Please welcome Sol Campbell. Since retiring from professional football, Sol has set up his own children's charity and written his autobiography. I don't imagine you're frightened of many things. Are you a bit trepidatious about being painted today?
Depends what is produced, really.
They should be frightened, really.
Please welcome John Humphreys. As a journalist, author and broadcaster, John has made any number of politicians quake in their boots. You scrutinise people, but today everyone's going to scrutinise you. It's a bit of revenge, I think, being taken here.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Terrified.
Please welcome Maisie Williams. Maisie has grown up with the role of Arya Stark in Sky Atlantic's award-winning Game of Thrones, having played the part since she was 12 years old. Have you ever sat for a portrait before?
No, never. I'm really, really, really excited.
OK, to pose you today, Maisie, we have the fantastic Kate Bryan.
Hi, Maisie. Now, you might normally think of Degas when you see a tutu, but what we want to do is pose you slightly more like Toulouse-Lautrec style.
Okay.
So maybe you sort of bring you've got these fantastic boots on with the tutu, which is a great start. And then maybe sort of leaning on your, something like that.
Sure.
How does that feel? Good?
Feels good, yeah.
You're used to putting other people in the spotlight, and we've got one sort of beaming down on you today.
Yeah,
I hope it's you're not getting too warm under there.
Fortunately, I've got such a thick head of hair, it protects me.
Great.
It's not as if I've got a bald spot or anything.
No.
There's a beautiful painting of Captain Cook in the Maritime Museum, and we thought, with the obvious reference to your football career, pose of maybe a captain thinking about his next campaign.
Yeah.
You're comfortable?
I'm comfortable.
Let's start.
Artists, the challenge is about to begin.
You have 4 hours to complete your work, and the time starts now.
A conventional technique when starting a portrait is to use pencil, but it's not everyone's preference.
I'm sort of just mapping it out, and I'm just using one colour, just almost like sketching it out, really.
Victoria Smith works in London as a freelance graphic designer. She took part in last year's competition and has come back for a second attempt. Last year was a dress rehearsal.
I didn't realise at the time. I actually thought, well, thank goodness I won't have to do that again.
I was interested to hear that you said a lot of your friends don't know that you paint.
No.
I would be so bragging about it.
It's like a hobby I do.
But the energy, if you've got it, you've got it, and I think that's brilliant.
Great, thank you.
Okay, I'm glad you came back.
You've used the paint to draw.
I just wanted to try and capture a likeness and create some structure that I could then put tone onto, so it's almost just a bit of a skeleton then to build upon.
Amateur artist Jessica Debber works at the Victoria and Albert Museum in London. She's managed to make an impression with just a few marks. Great face.
Great face, yeah.
And you've got it already. That's so like him. That's just amazing. It's not just likeness and character the judges are looking for from these portraits. The composition of the piece is also crucial.
It's sometimes difficult for me to land on the right composition that I feel is appropriate. I mean, sometimes it's predetermined because I'll have a photographic reference, but here it's completely different.
The first few brushstrokes of a portrait don't always resemble the sitter. So, over the next 3 hours, the artist will have to find the likeness and hold on to it.
Here at the Wallace Collection in London, our artists have just less than 3 hours to paint celebrity sitters Maisie Williams, John Humphreys and Sol Campbell.
I've been admiring your trousers.
Well, I've got about 3 pairs of these, but I mean,
It looks like you've got a few coats on there.
Yeah, they're pretty solid.
Oh, they actually have a sound effect.
Yeah.
Can I try that?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're actually quite sturdy. An art school graduate from Brighton, Charlie Schaffer only started painting from life in the last year of university, but he seems confident in his use of colour. Can I ask what might be a stupid question, but you've gone very green.
I have gone
to
very
start.
green.
The background is very red.
Yeah, it is.
Why is that?
Actually, I hate painting on white, so I decided that I needed to paint on a different colour. But red and green kind of make each other vibrate, so I'm thinking that I can get a very good, like, vibrant kind of moving.
They make each
red
other
going on.
vibrate. See, I wouldn't have known that.
It's the complementary colours, so the
Okay.
opposing colours, when they put them next to each other, they make each other pop out.
Okay, so this
like
is like the
blue
science
makes
of
orange,
painting, isn't it? Yeah.
So blue makes orange pop out, and red makes green pop out, and vice versa.
While Charlie's painting a red background green, just to confuse things, another artist started painting the green background yellow, and then changed it to red.
It is really a beautiful experience for me. I really enjoying every single second of it. Yeah.
Originally from Iran, Raouf Hagigi is a professional artist who lives with his wife in Southend-on-Sea. While most are focusing on the head, Raouf has a different approach.
I've got a feeling that Raouf's got a fantastic imagination because
Yeah.
I'm looking at this and I can see he's even added a grand painting onto the wall that isn't there.
The thing that I'm quite interested in is that you've gone for the whole set because it happens quite rarely, and it's quite a small canvas, so there's going to be quite a lot of fine work going on. Okay,
Yeah.
and you know, obviously you've got a time against you. Will you just focus on the face and then see what time you have left to do the rest, or are you going to try and go for it all?
I go for it all.
Really?
Yeah.
You're an ambitious man.
I'm curious now
I'm
as to
really
know what
curious.
that's going to be.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how this develops.
Good luck.
Most of our artists are applying their watercolour, oil or acrylics with a traditional brush. But although he started sketching with a brush, the judges are intrigued that one artist no longer seems to need it.
As a fellow painter, I'm quite impressed that you do everything with a palette knife.
Yes.
We really like the hair on your self-portrait.
Yeah.
Was that done with a palette knife?
Yes, everything done with a knife.
That was the detail was incredible.
Originally from Nigeria, Titus Egbara is a security guard who divides his time equally between work and painting.
Now, I'm also interested, you have a lot of colours.
When I started my painting career as an artist very young,
Very
I
young.
fell in love with Monet, an impressionist. He tried to define light and shade,
Yes.
but the use of colours, how colours and light affect the object.
I really enjoy watching you paint as well. It's good action.
Thank you.
Okay.
21-year-old Jamie Avis taught himself to paint. Unused to a live sitter, getting started hasn't been easy. Am I right, this is your third start?
Yeah.
What happened?
The face was too big. from the start, really. So it's a matter of reducing scale.
So is this like a third draft?
Yeah.
And you learn with each draft?
Either way, yeah.
Okay.
Kind of like, yeah. Like
Will there be a fourth draft, or is this it
No,
now?
this is it.
Okay, you're off.
Yeah, I'm off.
I'm seeing AstroTurf, I'm seeing football.
And you're surprised? So, no, it was really
You're playing the long ball game with this one.
It's a great colour to paint. As a painter,
no, it is.
Sol's got this fantastic colour in it, you know, and then that green next to it is just, or behind it is just.
No, if it works great. If you look at Tony's there, that the green really works.
What we were trying to achieve with John, you know, he's normally in a position where he's interrogating others, often quite aggressively, as we know, and we wanted to sort of flip it around slightly. But what we've actually got is a very comfortable man sitting there reading his Sunday newspapers.
There's a sense in which John is still in charge here.
Oh, completely
He's
in
setting
charge.
the
It's
pace.
on his own terms.
There's a confrontational quality to this, and I think particularly brilliant the way that she's sort of holding her elbows on her knees. It looks simple, but actually it's not very comfortable.
Well, the tracks are they're almost fly on the wall, aren't they?
Definitely.
And they almost look absinthe ravaged. And...
Yeah, he's kind of showing the other side of the ballerina.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that it is very physical, it's very exhausting.
I notice every now and again Maisie has to do this
Yeah.
big stretch thing because she's hunched over there.
Yeah, we'd feel guilty, but she's got such a young spine.
Well, I wondered if you thought, oh, well, she's 17, she can do anything.
Yeah, she'll be all right.
Yeah. Watching the competition has inspired some of our audience to have a go themselves, sketching or using an app on a tablet. Using technology is now as much part of an artist's kit as an easel or a palette, and it's not just for capturing the image of the sitter.
I take photographs of my drawing to get the distance, and it shows me what's wrong.
Amanda Fletcher, who recently sold her coffee shop business in London to pursue painting full-time, has discovered a problem with proportion on her portrait.
Just to make it clear, you're taking a photograph of the image in process and then looking at it in a different medium, and that gives you,
So that, for instance, that image showed me that her shoulder was wrong.
Well, it's a different use for technology.
Yeah, and some people use mirrors, don't they, just to alter the perception a bit, or see it upside down, and to try to find a way of refreshing the eye.
At the halfway point, all but one artist have paint on their canvas.
I'm trying to keep the marks as minimal as possible, because obviously everything will show through with the watercolours.
A professional artist living and working in his camper van, David Alderslade faces quite a challenge. He's more accustomed to painting the Wiltshire countryside.
You've got no landscape today.
No.
The landscape was really mesmerising in that self-portrait. I loved it, that sort of Japanese reference. Do you paint a lot of landscapes, or you paint more portraits?
Mainly landscapes, yeah, I generally do. You know, it was a bit of a whim kind of entering.
What Kate was saying about that very flat Japanese stylisation, does that come later on?
It's generally, I almost get rid of the drawing by the time I get the painting.
Yeah.
I'll kind of get rid of as many pencil lines as possible.
At some point, the pencils will have to go down and the paints will come up.
You've just about come along at that point.
Right,
so,
okay.
Yeah, it's going to
Better
start.
leave you to it.
It's a great start.
Thank you.
Good luck.
So are you sitting there trying to emanate a sort of a sense of yourself to each of them individually, or are you more busy with your reading?
I wish I could see that. I'm actually sneaking a look at that while you're standing there, because you can see a bit of that. He's given me white hair.
Oh, well, I'll go and talk to him
Please,
straight away.
and the wrinkles as well, if you wouldn't mind.
I'm just trying my best for the guys, doing not much. No, I'm not going to look at none of them at all, so I'm going to close my eyes and walk off. I think it's all about a surprise. Yeah. Oh.
Although the odd glimpse is unavoidable, during the breaks some are trying not to look at the paintings too closely before they're finished.
Oh, gosh.
But one can't resist taking a peek.
I thought I'd get really, really bored, which I'm not getting bored at all. It's quite interesting seeing people, but it's just sitting still that I'm not very good at. As you can tell, I'm quite like, when I'm talking now, I do this all the time. So it's really, really strange to be like, my face is like my round cheeks and... We'll see, we'll see.
There are just under 2 hours to go.
Time's gone quite quickly all of a sudden. Really don't actually have a plan.
I'm not going to change the composition at this stage, but it's just a case now of trying to get a kind of richness of detail and make it feel like a really big, strong, solid head.
The artists competing in today's heat of Sky Arts Portrait Artist of the Year have been painting for nearly 3 hours, and they've given the judges plenty to think about. So, are you beginning to get a feel of where everyone is? What about you, Tom?
Well, I'm worried, but for all the right reasons. It's unusual to have such a concentration of artists who are doing so well.
There are people who are really, really mapped out what their day is going to look like. But actually there's some artists who got the likeness and did a really lovely beginning start of the day that I kind of wanted them to stop. I mean, Charlie, who's painting Maisie, he could have stopped 15 minutes in and been a contender. And actually it continues to be good. So you're kind of watching kind of through your fingertips, because it's a bit scary because I don't want him to lose it. He's just painted in the red background to match in with the green.
And I think most of them today have done a really good job on the likenesses. I think some of the drawings were particularly good, and I'm slightly nervous that some of the painting is taking away some of that sort of connection with the features.
Because Jessica caught John Humphreys within minutes.
Yeah. Yes.
She drew with the brush.
Yes, I think there was a character that she really, really caught John very, very well without knowing him at all, without having spoken to him. And I'm watching the paint go on, and I'm seeing him disappear. And it's making me worry. Also David, who's just been painting around the drawing of the outline of John's head, has had to be incredibly careful because one tiny slip, and he would never be able to correct that.
What about the paintings of Sol?
I think there's some amazing things there. I mean, Rove's painting is just a pleasure to watch. He's having the time of his life. He's using imagination, and he's painted in a portrait in the background on the wall that doesn't exist. He's really looking at the set.
I know I shouldn't jump to think about judging, but it's going to make it incredibly difficult. There's such good work here.
While portrait painting embraces likeness, character and narrative, some artists are thinking strategically.
Well, I know that I can get a likeness in 4 hours, so I thought just go for the likeness.
Lewis Smith came second in the 2011 BP Portrait Awards, so has more experience than some when it comes to preparation.
You've got a stopwatch here counting down the hour. So are you breaking the day up into hour segments?
Yeah, so I want to be in certain positions at certain times in the next 2 hours.
So you managed to get your personal best down to 4 hours?
Well, that's what I've been practicing on.
I'm being a bit terrified by this clock ticking away, so I'm going to leave you.
Time is money. Go on. Great, thanks.
Doing great.
So, Emily.
Yep.
It's, he's emerging, isn't he?
Yes. I'm kind of working from around the outside and trying to draw in.
I mean, I thought your self-portrait was amazing.
Oh, thank you. I learnt a lot because it was the first one I'd ever done. So,
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, it's a very good start. You can't possibly follow that. Amateur artist Emily Wolfe works in her mum's soft furnishings company in Dorset. Someone said you painted pets, is that right?
I started doing
Why do you do that,
I
Emily?
know. I started doing pet portraits and things just to make some money.
OK,
but
fair enough. That's a great reason.
I don't want to get stuck doing it. So I'm hoping I can get into doing more portraiture and
less pets.
figurative stuff. Yeah, less pets. Though people with their pets, I don't
that's
mind.
fine.
But you got to be in there with them.
No, I think that it's good to have a human element.
A good portrait isn't as simple as capturing the likeness of the person in front of you.
It's a very organic activity, and things happen. But if you go with the things that work, it can be very interesting. It's, you know, you have your own vision, and the painting sometimes has its own vision, and it's a fight between what the painting wants and you want with the sitter sitting there. That's what makes painting interesting.
Steve, I heard it took you an awful long time to complete your self-portrait.
Well, time's a relative concept, isn't it?
Filled with detailed objects, art teacher Steve Dowson took 2 years to paint his self-portrait, but his sitter today is quite a contrast to still life.
How important is it for you for the sitter to be absolutely still, or in this case not still? Is it difficult?
Well, my feeling about that is that the sitters, obviously, it's a living being, and so I like to chase the subject very much. I really like having a slightly moving subject.
The opposite of Ty, because Ty is quite strict with his sitters. He doesn't let them move.
But I like your idea of, in the movement, finding the essence of the person.
I'm trying to put depth into the clothing by building up one layer after another, so it builds up kind of like stained glass, so that obviously you start with the lightest, and the darker the layers on the top, the darker it will get progressively, but hopefully eventually it will look a lot more three-dimensional than it does at the moment.
Tony, it looks like Sol Campbell.
Well, thank goodness for that.
It's a good start. He just looks like a man with a purpose.
Yeah, he's just kind of such a physical presence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you can feel that already.
Imagine walking out on the football field against him.
I can't even dare to imagine that.
No.
It's not just our judges scrutinising portraits today. A steady stream of spectators is enjoying a rare chance to observe the creative process. It's wonderful to see a painting change.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. My wife paints, and I can't believe how she does it. It just starts off from nothing and ends up being lovely. I've got a few of hers on the wall at home.
And how long does it take to do a portrait? Because these people have only got...
in 4 hours, isn't
4
it? Yes.
hours?
Yes. No, a lot longer than that.
That would worry you?
Yes, absolutely.
Edward,
hi.
You're here today partly to support Titus, who I know is a good friend of yours. You and Titus both got in. How did that work out?
I entered the competition first, but I sent him an email and he did enter. So some weeks ago he called me and said, oh, he's got through. So I was so excited and I was so pleased that he's got through.
But you hadn't got through at that point?
No.
So how long before you found out you were in it as well?
I got my information the day after.
Oh, that's not so bad.
Yeah,
Only 24 hours of suffering.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, your husband has invented a painting. He's put a painting in his own painting that isn't behind him? Does he make things up?
Yes, he does. He just invents or he creates as he goes along. When he starts something, he doesn't know how it's going to end up.
We mustn't let you distract him.
Well, I don't think nobody can distract him. He go through the day without even eating, just painting and painting.
I was scared painting amongst people, but because this was way out of my comfort zone. But now I'm really relaxed.
Artists, your time is running short.
You have 30 minutes to go.
I'm not hating it, so you know, it's okay. I'm glad. I'm happy with what I've done so far.
I'm trying to do the eyes now because I knew they'd take a long time and I didn't want them to slow me up.
You've got the whole of John Humphrys. That's quite something. Are you pleased?
Well...
You'd like another year?
Yes. Can you fix that for me?
I knew you would. The paintings have changed dramatically in the last hour. With less than 30 minutes to go and just one semi-final place available today, every brushstroke counts.
During the last stages of the challenge, the pressure on the artists is growing.
Just need to try and get it to some kind of conclusion now.
Yeah, there's a bit of a panic because I can see there's things in the painting I'd really like to spend time on, but I'm not going to have the opportunity. So I'm sort of scanning the whole painting, thinking, well, what little touches can make a difference?
Artists, just 5 minutes to go.
Cutting it a bit fine. There's still a few things I need to do. Work on the hair, work on the forehead, but hopefully it will get done.
You found abstract elements in it which really make it work well. That's good.
Yeah, the face is causing me problems, though. Considering it's a portrait show, I'm in trouble.
He's got that vein in his head.
Artists, your time is up.
Please put down your brushes and step away from your portraits.
It's been a gruelling 4 hours for the artists, and now they face an anxious wait while the judges deliberate. Before that, the sitters get a chance to choose the portrait they would most like to keep. I think you've certainly earned the right to see these 4 works of art. So, artists, can you please turn your easels? Which of these would you like hanging around in your home for the rest of your days?
I'm really, really thrilled with them all, and they all look so different, and you've all captured me in different moods throughout the day.
Yeah, but mainly frowning.
Mainly frowning. I think the one that looks the way that I'd love to be portrayed, I guess, is this one here, which is why I'm going to choose it today.
Artists, would you like to turn your easels round?
Moment of truth. Four hours? David, congratulations. Would you say grumpy? This is going to be very tedious, John, because I'm going to go from one to the other saying that's fantastic. And it is.
I think you have to choose the one you would like to hang on your wall at home.
I'm going to go for Jessica.
It's fantastic, really. I like the style.
It's got life, hasn't it? Who's on the bench and who gets into the team? Who are you picking?
I'm going to go for this one.
OK. Fantastic. The artists wait while the judges take a look at the portraits behind closed doors.
This was so good for so long.
Oh, yeah.
And it had John's cragginess.
It did. It was so well observed and painted in 4 hours by a very young artist who is self-taught. I mean, that's...
And learning.
Amazing.
I ran a little bit short of time towards the end. There's a lot of pressure on. I was trying my best to get it all done.
This came and went and came, and I was like, yeah, great, no, don't do that. It was a difficult one to watch.
I loved that green background. I loved it when he was working on this area of the
Yes.
face. My goodness, he'd really caught her.
But I think we have to really give him credit for the fact that we gave him a reference point, which was this unconventional ballerina, and he's done that.
I think I like my painting. It's definitely not my best, and I think there are much better paintings that have been painted today.
Now, I love Ralph's portrait of Sol. I love the fact that he used his inventiveness and his imagination in creating this set that wasn't really there. I've got some concerns that he hasn't quite caught that likeness of Sol.
My only concern is the lack of likeness, and it's very, not that that's a bad thing, but it's illustrative quality.
It was a wonderful day. I met lots of wonderful artists and I learned lots of things.
It almost reminds me of sort of a clerical portrait. I don't know whether it's that sort of clerical lavender on his shirt and the dark suit.
It was nerve-wracking in the first half, but it was just trying to control my excitement levels, really.
Sol, what a rock of a man.
Did you paint this one time?
No.
Big head, big brush strokes, muddy, you love it.
Muddy colours.
Don't say that, the colours are beautiful.
I think for me it's just a bit too unresolved.
I was conscious of the time running out and I started playing around with the face and I felt like maybe I wasn't adding to it necessarily.
But out of 12 artists, the judges need to choose a short list of 3.
I think the light works much better on the one on the right.
It's not telling me anything I don't already know about his face.
It's that sort of flatness of the style. I would push them back, and it's those 3.
After a great deal of deliberation, the decision has been made by the judges. The first artist to make it to their shortlist is Raouf. The second artist is Charlie. And the third artist to be shortlisted is David.
Commiserations to the artists who did make it to the shortlist, but thank you for your massive contribution to the day.
I've had a great time and I'll do it all again. Like, it was really nice. Yeah, but I'm tired now.
Maisie chose my painting as her favourite, which is quite an honour, and I'm just a little bit shell-shocked as well.
To help the judges decide who will go through to the semi-final, they quiz them about the portrait they've created today and their self-portrait.
This one of John from a distance, it really is rock solid. It's fantastic.
I was worried about it. It's actually on the break, halfway through, I thought, should I start again, really? Because I thought there was just too much space there, but...
Well, most people use watercolour in a really kind of spontaneous, free way, and you've used it in a completely different way, and I found that really interesting, and it felt very unique and contemporary.
There's a great solidity to the character there.
Yeah.
You know, you really get that sense of him sitting there and that depth. It works incredibly well. We really saw flights of imagination here with you. You really wanted to take an inventiveness in, and we see the appearance of a painting in the background that wasn't actually there on the set. So we loved the fact that you embraced not only the objects on the set, but also added some of your own. We had some concerns about the likeness.
I didn't have actually enough time. I mean, if I had more time, I would work more on the face. But at a stage, I felt this is enough. I shouldn't do more, yeah.
The light on the face is just extraordinary.
I definitely started with the face and got really into the face, and then the coming together of the canvas as a whole. I should really have started earlier, but I definitely would have found more depth in the arms, I think, and more sculptural, because I think that the face is quite sculptural.
But also, I think your love of colour comes through in a very mature way. You know, it's not just sort of the excitement of youth and sort of plastering it all over the place. It's very, very considered, and we were all very taken with it.
Before our judges decide who goes through to the semi-final, I've got to ask one burning question. So I think one of the themes, the undercurrents, I think, of this show is how important is likeness. Here today, it's almost as if you've willfully defied the likeness thing.
I think what we've done today is actually we've gone more for the quality of the paint rather than the likeness.
Well, Frank, it's kind of, you know, Sky Art's Portrait Artist of the Year, and we've been excited today by the inventiveness. You know, if you want a likeness, go to Leicester Square where they're drawing very good likenesses.
They're often not very good likenesses.
Oh, right, okay.
No, that's patronising. I'm not letting that pass. I mean,
thank you, Joan, for defending me, but I can take it.
They're not. You said yourself they weren't particularly good likenesses.
Yes, but we've also had discussions with. Okay, I think John Humphreys is very good. Sol could use some work, but the composition was so complex. We are dealing with potential here and where people can develop.
I think there's much of value in them. I just think that in a contest for portraiture, I don't know if the stuff that I like about them is about how they've captured that person.
We're looking at hundreds and hundreds of portraits. We need things which are different. We don't want to keep rehashing what people have done in the past.
What I want to know is, have you come to a choice of one artist?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, then we shall wait on your decision. David, Raouf, Charlie, congratulations to each one of you on having made it this far. But you know, only one of you can go through to the semi-finals, and the judges have made their decision.
Yes, and the artists they have chosen to go through to the semi-final displayed, and I quote, an appreciation and understanding of colour and texture, as well as employing a confident and imaginative approach. And that person is... Raouf.
Great job.
Thank you.
A little bit disappointed, obviously, but you know, I'm glad I got as far as I did, and I was pleased with my painting in 4 hours. So it's been a good day.
I just definitely thought his was the best the whole way through, to be fair, so definitely deserved to get it. He just got it down so quickly, and just the drawing was so good, and then the colours were just brilliant, so.
I was expecting to be a very nerve-wracking day and very challenging, but actually I was very calm all day. It was a beautiful experience for me.